The Grand Legislative Chamber of the Galactic Council was abuzz with activity as representatives from hundreds of member civilizations gathered for an emergency session. Hushed whispers and murmurs filled the air, as each delegate speculated on the nature of the crisis that had prompted this unprecedented meeting. At the center of the expansive chamber stood the council elders, their weathered faces reflecting the weight of millennia of diplomatic experience. Quiet fell over the assembly as the head elder stepped forward, her voice reverberating through the hall. "Honored delegates, we have called you here today to address a matter of grave importance." She paused, her gaze sweeping across the assembled aliens. "Our sensors have detected the emergence of a previously unknown sentient species originating from the uncharted periphery of the galaxy." A collective gasp rippled through the chamber. The discovery of a new intelligent life form was an exceedingly rare occurrence in the well-mapped expanse of the galactic community. The head elder continued, "This species calls itself humans, and preliminary scans have revealed remarkable, indeed, unprecedented, capabilities." She nodded to the main holographic display, which flickered to life, projecting a wealth of data and imagery. "As you can see, humans possess a physiology unlike any we have encountered. Their bodies demonstrate an astounding resilience, capable of withstanding extreme trauma and environmental stresses that would be fatal to most other sentient species." The delegates leaned forward, scrutinizing the holographic visualizations with rapt attention. Diagrams showed human cells rapidly regenerating damaged tissues, while footage depicted humans surviving falls, burns, and even dismemberment with startling recuperative powers. Furthermore, the head elder said, "Humans appear to have a unique psychological disposition. Their drive to survive and adapt is unparalleled. They will not surrender in the face of even the most daunting challenges." She gestured to a series of battlefield recordings where humans continued fighting with grievous injuries, refusing to succumb even when logically they should have perished. One of the younger delegates, a Xyloth scientist, raised a tentacle. "Honored elders, this is most perplexing. How is it possible for a species to defy the natural order in such a manner? Their abilities seem to contradict the fundamental principles of biology that we have long understood." The head elder nodded gravely. "That is precisely the question we must grapple with, young Xyloth. These humans, with their remarkable capacities, represent an anomaly that threatens to unsettle the very foundations of our knowledge." Another delegate, a grizzled Urjan military commander, rumbled in a deep bass voice, "If these humans are as formidable as you describe, they could pose a substantial threat to the stability of the galactic community. Their disregard for mortality could make them reckless, unpredictable." The head elder raised a hand, silencing the murmurs of concern. "I understand your trepidation, honored Urjan. However, we must approach this situation with measured caution and open minds. The humans are an enigma, to be sure, but they may also hold the key to revolutionary insights that could benefit us all." She fixed the delegates with a steely gaze. "Therefore, I propose that we dispatch an exploratory delegation to make first contact with this human civilization. We must learn all we can about them, their biology, their history, their culture. Only then can we determine the appropriate course of action." The chamber erupted in a cacophony of debate as the delegates argued passionately for and against the head elder's proposal. Some feared the humans' potential for disruption, while others saw an opportunity for unprecedented scientific and cultural exchange. Amidst the heated discussions, the head elder raised her hand once more, silencing the room. "It is clear that this matter requires our utmost attention and careful deliberation. I will reconvene the council in 3 solar cycles to decide on our next steps." She bowed solemnly. "The fate of the galactic community may very well hinge on how we choose to proceed. Let us approach this challenge with wisdom and foresight." With that, the delegates began to file out of the chamber, their minds buzzing with a mixture of trepidation and scientific curiosity. The discovery of the humans had shaken the very foundations of their understanding, And the Galactic Council now faced a pivotal decision that would echo through the ages. The sleek, silver craft glided silently through the skies above the lush, green expanse of the human homeworld, its occupants anxiously peering out at the alien landscape below. This was the Galactic Council's first direct contact with the enigmatic species known as humans, and the delegation was filled with a mixture of scientific curiosity and cautious trepidation. At the helm of the craft, the seasoned Vosgian diplomat, Caloreth, reviewed the mission parameters one last time. Remember, we are here to observe and learn, not to make any sudden moves. These humans may be powerful, but they are also unpredictable. Tread carefully. The other delegates, a diverse mix of xenobiologists, linguists, and military advisors, nodded in agreement. They had spent countless cycles poring over the limited data the Council had gathered about humans, but nothing could have prepared them for the reality of setting foot on this alien world. As the craft began its descent, the view outside the viewports grew more distinct. Sprawling cities, teeming with activity, dotted the landscape, their architecture a unique blend of natural and artificial elements. Caloreth's eyes narrowed as he spotted what appeared to be massive, metallic structures soaring into the sky, a feat of engineering that exceeded even the most advanced galactic technologies. Remarkable, he murmured, his fingers dancing across the craft's control panel as they prepared for landing. Moments later, the delegation found themselves standing on the outskirts of one of the human settlements, their advanced cloaking devices concealing their presence from the curious onlookers. Caloreth took a deep, steadying breath and activated the universal translator embedded in his neural implant. "Let us proceed with caution and remember our mission," he said, leading the way towards the nearest signs of human activity. As they navigated the busy streets, the delegates were struck by the sheer diversity of the humans. Individuals of varying shapes, sizes, and hues bustled about, engaged in a myriad of tasks and interactions. The air hummed with a cacophony of languages and the pulse of unfamiliar technology. Caloreth paused, observing a group of human children at play, their laughter and playful shrieks unlike anything he had ever encountered. "Fascinating," he murmured, his long fingers tapping at the datapad in his hand. "Their social dynamics appear to be quite complex, even at a young age." Suddenly, a commotion erupted nearby, drawing the delegation's attention. A crowd had gathered around a pair of humans, their voices raised in what seemed to be a heated exchange. Caloreth motioned for his team to observe, their translator implants picking up the increasingly agitated dialogue. "Can't just take what isn't yours," one of the humans, a female, shouted, her face flushed with anger. "I was only borrowing it." The other human, a male, protested, "I had every intention of returning it." Caloreth's brow furrowed as he listened, puzzled by the nuances of the interaction. "Fascinating. It appears they have a complex system of ownership and personal property. I wonder how this fits into their broader social fabric." Before he could ponder the matter further, a third human, a male of impressive stature, stepped forward and placed a restraining hand on the shoulders of the feuding pair. His deep voice boomed with authority, calming the situation and diffusing the confrontation. The delegates watched, transfixed, as the larger human spoke words of reason and understanding, guiding the other two towards a peaceful resolution. Caloreth's eyes widened, his mind racing with questions and hypotheses. This is unlike anything we have ever encountered," he murmured, his fingers flying across the datapad once more. "The human's ability to navigate social conflict, to employ reason and diplomacy, is truly remarkable. It challenges everything we thought we knew about sentient species." As the crowd dispersed, the delegation fell back, silently observing the ebb and flow of human activity. Caloreth knew that the insights they had gleaned today were merely the tip of the iceberg. The humans were proving to be a civilization of remarkable complexity and resilience, one that would require the full attention and resources of the Galactic Council to truly understand. With a deep breath, he turned to his team. "We have much work to do. Let us return to the ship and begin compiling our initial findings. The Council must be informed of what we have witnessed here today. The Grand Chamber of the Galactic Council was alive with heated debate as the delegates from the exploratory mission to the human homeworld presented their findings. Calreth, the seasoned Vosian diplomat, stood at the center of the vast amphitheater, his expression grave as he addressed the assembled representatives. Honored elders, what we have learned about the humans has shaken the very foundations of our understanding of sentient life. He paused, letting the weight of his words sink in. This species possesses capabilities that defy all known biological and physiological principles. With a wave of his hand, Calreth activated the main holographic display, which flickered to life with a series of images and data visualizations. As you can see, the human body demonstrates an astounding resilience. Their cells have the remarkable ability to regenerate and repair even the most grievous injuries and trauma. The delegates leaned forward, transfixed by the footage of humans recovering from wounds that would be fatal to most other species. Limbs regrew, organs repaired themselves, and the body's recovery time defied all logic. Furthermore, Calreth continued, humans appear to possess an unparalleled psychological fortitude. Their drive to survive, to adapt, and to overcome even the most daunting challenges is unlike anything we have ever encountered. He gestured to a series of combat recordings where humans continue to fight and resist even when logically they should have perished. They will not surrender, no matter the odds. Their will to live is primal, instinctual, a fundamental part of their being. The chamber erupted in a cacophony of whispers and murmurs as the delegates grappled with the implications of Calreth's revelations. A young Xyloth scientist raised a tentacle, her voice trembling with a mix of awe and trepidation. But how is this possible? How can a species defy the natural order in such a manner? Their abilities seem to transcend the very limits of biology as we understand it. Calreth nodded solemnly. That is the question that has consumed us since our first encounter with the humans. Their physiology and psychology are unlike anything we have ever witnessed. They appear to possess an innate capacity for survival that defies all logic. An elder Ursian delegate, his grizzled features set in a deep frown, rumbled in a deep bass voice. If what you say is true, then these humans pose a grave threat to the stability of the galactic community. Their disregard for mortality could make them reckless, unpredictable, and potentially unstoppable in times of conflict. The head elder raised a hand, silencing the murmurs of concern. We must approach this matter with caution and open minds. While the humans' abilities are indeed unprecedented, we cannot jump to conclusions about their intentions or the potential ramifications of their existence. She turned her gaze to Calreth, her eyes piercing. Tell us, what have you learned about the humans' culture, their societal structures, their technological capabilities? We must understand them as a civilization, not just as a biological anomaly. Calreth took a deep breath, his fingers tapping at the datapad in his hand. The humans are a complex and fascinating species, honored elders. Their social dynamics are based on a delicate balance of cooperation and competition, driven by a rich tapestry of emotions, beliefs, and ambitions. He paused, considering his words carefully. They have built sprawling cities, mastered the manipulation of energy and matter, and even ventured into the depths of space. Yet at their core, they remain fiercely protective of their individual and collective identities, driven by a profound sense of purpose and a willingness to sacrifice for the greater good. The chamber fell silent as the delegates absorbed Calreth's words, their expressions a mix of wonder and trepidation. The discovery of the humans had shaken the very foundations of their understanding of the galaxy, and the Galactic Council now faced a pivotal decision: how to proceed in the face of this remarkable and potentially transformative species. The Galactic Council's research teams have been working tirelessly, delving deeper into the mysteries of the enigmatic human species. Scans, experiments, and cultural analyses had yielded a wealth of data, yet the underlying nature of humanity's remarkable resilience and adaptability remained elusive. In the sterile confines of the Council's advanced xenobiological laboratories, a team of Vosgian scientists pored over the latest batch of findings, their brows furrowed in concentration. At the center of the room, a holographic display projected a detailed model of the human anatomy, its systems and processes laid bare for scrutiny. Caloreth, the seasoned diplomat who had led the initial contact mission, observed the researchers, his fingers stroking his chin thoughtfully. "What have you discovered?" A young Xyloth xenobiologist, her tentacles dancing across the control interface, looked up with a mixture of awe and frustration. "The more we learn, the more perplexing the humans become. Their physiology defies all logic. Their cells possess an uncanny ability to repair and regenerate. Their organs can function even in the face of catastrophic trauma, and their neural networks demonstrate a level of complexity and adaptability that we have never seen before." She gestured to the holographic display, where a representation of a human brain pulsed with intricate, ever-changing patterns of activity. "It's as if their very biology is imbued with a primal drive to survive, to overcome adversity at all costs. There are no clear biological switches or limiters that govern their resilience." Caloreth nodded, his expression grave. "And what of their psychological makeup? Have you been able to discern the origins of their remarkable willpower and determination?" Another researcher, a seasoned Urchin, stepped forward, his deep voice rumbling. "That is where the true enigma lies. The human psychological profile is a tapestry of complex emotions, ambitions, and social structures that defy our understanding." He manipulated the holographic display, revealing a series of visualizations depicting human behavior and interactions. They exhibit a wide range of feelings: joy, sorrow, anger, fear, and countless others. These emotions seem to be deeply intertwined with their decision-making processes, fueling their drive to persevere against all odds. Caloreth's brow furrowed as he studied the data. Fascinating. So, their resilience is not merely a biological trait, but one that is fundamentally tied to their very psyche. The Urchin researcher nodded. "Indeed, the human's survival instinct, as we have come to call it, appears to be a fundamental part of their being, a primal urge that transcends the physical limitations of their bodies." Caloreth's gaze grew distant as he contemplated the implications. Then, perhaps, the key to understanding the humans lies not just in their biology, but in delving deeper into the intricacies of their culture, their history, and the complex web of beliefs and values that shape their collective identity. The Xyloth xenobiologist nodded enthusiastically. "Precisely. We must approach this challenge from a multidisciplinary perspective, integrating our findings from various fields of study. Only then can we truly hope to unravel the mysteries of the human condition." Caloreth straightened, his expression resolute. "Then let us waste no time. Mobilize the research teams, expand the scope of our investigations, and leave no stone unturned. The Galactic Council must understand the humans, for their very existence poses both profound challenges and remarkable opportunities for our community." As the researchers scattered to their tasks, Caloreth gazed out at the vast expanse of the laboratory, his mind racing with the implications of their discoveries. The humans, it seemed, were the key to unlocking new frontiers of knowledge, and the Galactic Council could ill afford to underestimate the transformative potential of this remarkable species. The Grand Council chamber of the Galactic Assembly was once again the stage for a heated debate, as the representatives from across the member civilizations grappled with the implications of the humans' discovery. At the center of the expansive amphitheater, the head elder, her weathered features etched with a mixture of concern and resolve, addressed the assembled delegates. "Distinguished members of the Council, we have spent countless cycles studying the remarkable abilities of the humans, and the time has come to determine their place within our galactic community." She paused, her penetrating gaze sweeping across the chamber. "The humans possess capabilities that defy our understanding of biology and psychology. Their resilience, their adaptability, and their unyielding drive to survive pose both profound challenges and remarkable opportunities for us all. A murmur of agreement and dissent rippled through the delegates as the weight of the head elder's words sank in. Among them, a wyvern scientist, his scaled brow furrowed in trepidation, rose to speak. "Honored elders, I fear that granting the humans unfettered access to our civilizations would be reckless and potentially disastrous. Their disregard for mortality, their unpredictable nature, could destabilize the very foundations upon which our galactic order rests." He gestured to the holographic displays, where images of humans engaged in acts of daring, even self-destructive, behavior flashed across the screens. How can we trust a species that seems to have no fear of death? They could jeopardize our carefully maintained peace, our technological and scientific advances, all for the sake of their own insatiable curiosity. A murmur of agreement rose from the wyvern's fellow delegates, their expressions mirroring his concerns. However, before the head elder could respond, a young Xyloth diplomat stood, her tentacles quivering with a mix of excitement and trepidation. "While I understand the valid concerns raised by my esteemed colleague," she said, her voice clear and measured, "I believe we would be remiss to dismiss the humans' potential contributions to our galactic community." She gestured to the holographic displays, where images of humans engaged in acts of cooperation, problem-solving, and technological innovation were now interspersed with the more unsettling footage. The humans have demonstrated a remarkable aptitude for adaptation, creativity, and resilience. Their unique perspectives and approaches could unlock new frontiers of knowledge and understanding that we have yet to even conceive of. The Xyloth diplomat fixed the wyvern with a determined gaze. "Surely, with the proper safeguards and integration protocols, we can harness the humans' abilities for the betterment of all civilizations within the galactic sphere." The chamber erupted in a cacophony of debate as the delegates argued passionately for and against the Xyloth's proposal. Some echoed the wyvern's concerns, fearful of the humans' disruptive potential, while others, like the young diplomat, saw an opportunity for unprecedented growth and discovery. The head elder raised a hand, silencing the room. "It is clear that the matter of the humans' integration is a complex and divisive one. We must approach this challenge with the utmost care and consideration, weighing the risks against the potential rewards." She fixed the delegates with a steely gaze. "I will call for a recess to allow us all time to further deliberate on this issue. When we reconvene, I expect each of you to come prepared with a well-reasoned proposal for how we should proceed." As the delegates filed out of the chamber, the air thick with tension and uncertainty, the head elder turned to her closest advisors, her brow furrowed in deep contemplation. "The fate of the galactic community may very well hinge on the decision we make regarding the humans. We cannot afford to be hasty or short-sighted. The path forward must be carefully considered, for the ramifications will echo through the ages to come." Amidst the cavernous halls of the Galactic Council's diplomatic quarters, the human delegates sat in contemplative silence, their expressions a mix of fascination and unease. The weight of the momentous decisions being made on their behalf pressed heavily upon them, for the humans found themselves at the center of a debate that would shape the course of their species' future. Samantha, a seasoned cynoanthropologist and the lead human representative, ran a hand through her short, dark hair, her brow furrowed in deep thought. "I can scarcely believe the magnitude of what we've discovered about our own kind. To think that our resilience and adaptability have so profoundly shaken the foundations of the galactic community." She turned to her colleagues, a wry smile tugging at the corners of her mouth. "And here we are, mere observers in a drama that will determine our very place in the stars." David, a young engineer with a keen intellect and an insatiable curiosity, leaned forward, his eyes alight. "But don't you see, Samantha? This is an incredible opportunity, not just for humanity, but for the entire galactic civilization. Our species possesses unique capabilities that could unlock new frontiers of knowledge and technological advancement." He gestured animatedly, his words tumbling forth with a barely contained enthusiasm. "Imagine the breakthroughs we could achieve in fields like medicine, energy production, even space exploration, if we were able to collaborate with these alien races on an equal footing. Samantha regarded him with a mixture of admiration and trepidation. I share your excitement, David, but you cannot ignore the valid concerns that the Galactic Council delegates have raised. Our remarkable resilience and disregard for mortality could be seen as a threat to the established order. She sighed, her gaze drifting to the panoramic window, where the alien cityscape stretched out before them. They fear that our unpredictable nature could destabilize the delicate balance of power, jeopardizing the hard-won peace that the galactic community has maintained for millennia. Across the room, Mai, a brilliant xenobiologist with a keen analytical mind, nodded solemnly. Samantha makes a fair point. We must acknowledge that our species' abilities are indeed unprecedented, and the galactic races have every right to be cautious about the implications of our integration. She paused, her expression thoughtful. However, I believe that with open and honest dialogue, we can allay their fears and demonstrate the immense value that humanity can bring to the table. Our creativity, our tenacity, our willingness to challenge the status quo. These are the very qualities that could propel the galactic civilization forward in ways they have never imagined. The human delegates fell silent, each grappling with the weight of the decisions that lay ahead. They knew that the Galactic Council's verdict would forever shape the course of their species' future, and the stakes could not be higher. Samantha straightened, her eyes resolute. Then it is our duty to make the case for humanity, to convince the Galactic Council that we are not a threat, but rather a vital part of the tapestry of sentient life in this galaxy. She met the gazes of her colleagues, her voice firm. We must be prepared to negotiate, to compromise, and to demonstrate our commitment to coexistence and the betterment of all civilizations. The path forward may not be an easy one, but the future of our species depends on it. The other delegates nodded in agreement, their expressions mirroring Samantha's determination. As they turned their attention to the tasks at hand, the weight of their responsibility loomed large, for the very fate of humanity now rested in their hands. The Grand Council chamber of the Galactic Assembly was once again alive with heated debate, as the delegates grappled with the momentous decision that lay before them. The fate of the humans, and by extension, the future of the entire galactic community, hung in the balance. At the center of the amphitheater, the head elder stood, her weathered features etched with a resolute determination. Honored members of the council, we have heard the arguments on both sides of this issue. The humans, with their remarkable capabilities, pose both profound challenges and remarkable opportunities for our civilizations. She raised a hand, silencing the murmurs that rippled through the assembly. It is clear that we cannot simply dismiss or contain the humans, for their potential to contribute to the advancement of our galactic community is undeniable. The Wyvern delegate, his scaled brow furrowed in trepidation, rose to speak. But, honored elders, how can we guarantee the stability and security of our established order if we grant the humans unfettered access? Their disregard for mortality, their unpredictable nature, could jeopardize everything we have worked so hard to achieve. The young Xyloth diplomat stood, her tentacles quivering with a mixture of caution and optimism. I understand your concerns, honored Wyvern, but perhaps there is a middle ground, a way for us to integrate the humans while maintaining the necessary safeguards. She turned to the head elder, her gaze resolute. We could grant the humans a limited form of integration, with strict oversight and regulations to ensure that their capabilities are utilized for the betterment of all, rather than for disruption or self-interest. The chamber erupted in a cacophony of debate, as the delegates argued the merits and drawbacks of the Xyloth's proposal. Some feared that any degree of integration would be too risky, while others saw it as a necessary compromise to unlock the human's potential. The head elder raised a hand, silencing the room once more. It seems we have reached an impasse, my fellow delegates. However, I believe that with careful consideration and a willingness to find common ground, we can forge a path forward that satisfies the concerns of all. She fixed the assembly with a steely gaze. I propose that we grant the humans a limited form of integration, with a comprehensive set of guidelines and restrictions to ensure that their abilities are utilized in a responsible and controlled manner. The chamber fell silent, the delegates exchanging glances of uncertainty and apprehension. Finally, the Wyvern delegate rose, his expression reluctant but resigned. While I maintain my reservations, honored elders, I acknowledge that this compromise may be the wisest course of action. We must proceed with utmost caution, but I am willing to give this approach a chance. A murmur of cautious agreement rippled through the assembly, as the delegates recognized the pragmatic necessity of the head elder's proposal. The integration of the humans, a species that defied the very limits of their understanding, would require a delicate and carefully orchestrated plan. As the session drew to a close, the head elder turned to the human delegates, who had been observing the proceedings with a mixture of relief and trepidation. Your species has proven itself to be a remarkable and complex civilization, humans. We have much to learn from one another, and I hope that this compromise will forge a path for us to coexist and prosper together. Samantha, the lead human representative, stepped forward, her expression solemn. We understand the gravity of this decision, honored elders. The humans are committed to working within the parameters you have established, and we look forward to the opportunity to contribute to the galactic community in a responsible and beneficial manner. With a solemn nod, the head elder dismissed the assembly, knowing that the true test lay ahead. The integration of the humans would be a delicate and uncertain process, but the potential rewards were too great to ignore. The Galactic Council had taken the first steps, and now the future of both civilizations hung in the balance. The vast expanse of the galactic community had slowly begun to open its doors to the enigmatic human civilization, as the terms of their limited integration were carefully implemented. Yet, despite the Galactic Council's best efforts to maintain control and stability, the presence of the humans began to have unintended and far-reaching consequences. In the bustling metropolis of Xyloth Prime, Caloreth, the veteran Vosian diplomat, stood amidst the chaos, his brow furrowed with a mixture of fascination and trepidation. All around him, the normally orderly streets teemed with a cacophony of unfamiliar sounds and sights, as humans and members of the galactic races mingled in a whirlwind of activity. The integration process has been far more disruptive than we anticipated, he murmured, his long fingers tapping furiously on his data pad as he documented the unfolding events. At the center of the commotion, a group of humans and Xyloth scientists engaged in a heated debate, their voices rising in a frenzy of gesticulations and impassioned arguments. Caloreth recognized the topic. A breakthrough in renewable energy technology promised to revolutionize power generation across the galactic sphere. The humans' insatiable curiosity and willingness to challenge established norms is unsettling our delicate balance of power, he said, shaking his head. Their ideas are too radical, too disruptive. We may have underestimated their capacity to upend the very foundations of our civilization. Nearby, a tense confrontation unfolded between a group of humans and a contingent of Ursian military personnel. The humans, their expressions defiant, refused to back down from a training exercise that the Ursians deemed too perilous, even for their seasoned veterans. They have no fear of death, these humans, rumbled the grizzled Ursian commander, his imposing figure looming over the smaller yet unyielding humans. Their recklessness will only lead to chaos and destruction if we do not rein them in. Caloreth watched the standoff with a heavy heart, his mind racing with the implications. The humans' disregard for their own safety, their boundless drive to push the limits of what was considered possible, threatened to upset the carefully maintained order that had sustained the galactic community for millennia. As he moved through the chaotic streets, the Vosian diplomat could sense the growing unease among the other galactic races. Whispers of resentment and fear echoed through the crowds as they witnessed the humans' disruptive influence seep into every facet of their lives. We must act quickly to mitigate the damage, Caloreth murmured, his expression grim. The fragile compromise we have forged with the humans hangs by a thread. If we cannot find a way to harness their capabilities while maintaining our own stability, the consequences could be catastrophic. Back in the council chambers, the head elder listened to Caloreth's report, her weathered features etched with a deep, pensive frown. The humans' integration has proven to be far more complex and volatile than we anticipated. Their very presence threatens to unravel the delicate balance we have carefully maintained for generations. She turned to the assembled delegates, her gaze sweeping across the room. We must reevaluate our approach, devise new strategies to contain the humans' disruptive influence before it is too late. The stability of the galactic community hangs in the balance. The chamber erupted in a cacophony of debate as the delegates argued passionately for and against the head elder's proposal. Some advocated for stricter controls and further restrictions on the humans, while others insisted that such measures would only serve to escalate the tensions. Amidst the heated discussion, Caloreth stood silent, his mind racing with the weight of the decisions that lay ahead. The humans had proven to be a force of nature, unbound by the constraints that governed the galactic races. And now, the very future of the community they had sought to integrate hung in the balance. The Grand Council chamber of the Galactic Assembly was tense with anticipation as the delegates gathered for a pivotal meeting. The integration of the humans had proven to be a volatile and divisive challenge, threatening to unravel the delicate balance that had sustained the galactic community for generations. At the center of the amphitheater, the head elder stood, her weathered features etched with a mixture of resolve and weariness. Honored members of the Council, we have reached a critical juncture in our dealings with the humans. Their presence among us has upended the very foundations of our order, and we must now decide the path forward. She raised a hand, silencing the murmurs that rippled through the assembly. We have attempted to contain the humans, to restrict their influence, but it has only served to escalate the tensions. It is clear that we cannot simply force them into submission without risking the collapse of our hard-won peace. The Wyvern delegate, his scaled brow furrowed in trepidation, rose to speak. Then what choice do we have, honored elders? The humans' disregard for our established norms and their reckless disregard for their own safety pose an existential threat to the galactic community. We cannot allow them to continue disrupting the delicate balance we have worked so hard to maintain. The young Xyloth diplomat, her tentacles quivering with a mixture of caution and determination, stepped forward. Honored Wyvern, I understand your concerns, but I believe there is another way forward, one that embraces the humans' unique capabilities and harnesses them for the betterment of all. She turned to the head elder, her gaze resolute. We must abandon our attempts to contain the humans and instead seek to understand them, to forge a genuine partnership that recognizes their value and allows them to contribute to the galactic community on their own terms. The chamber erupted in a cacophony of debate as the delegates argued passionately for and against the Xyloth's proposal. Some feared that such an approach would only embolden the humans and lead to further chaos, while others saw it as the only viable path to a lasting peace. Caloreth, the seasoned Vosgian diplomat, rose, his voice clear and measured. Honored colleagues, we have spent countless cycles studying the humans, and we have learned that their resilience, their creativity, and their unyielding determination are not merely threats to our order, but rather invaluable assets that we have yet to fully comprehend. He fixed the assembly with a piercing gaze. If we approach the humans with open minds and a willingness to collaborate, we may unlock new frontiers of knowledge and technological advancement that could transform the galactic community in ways we have never imagined. The head elder raised a hand, silencing the room once more. Caloreth speaks with wisdom. We have reached a crossroads, my fellow delegates, and the path we choose will echo through the ages to come. She took a deep breath, her eyes sweeping across the assembled representatives. I propose that we forge a new comprehensive agreement with the humans, one that recognizes their unique abilities, grants them greater autonomy and integration within the galactic sphere, and establishes clear protocols for mutual cooperation and respect. The chamber fell silent, the delegates exchanging glances of uncertainty and cautious optimism. Finally, the Wyvern delegate rose, his expression reluctant but resigned. While I maintain my reservations, Honored elders, I acknowledge that this bold approach may be our best chance at forging a lasting peace with the humans. I am willing to give it a chance, for the future of the galactic community depends on it. A murmur of cautious agreement rippled through the assembly as the delegates recognized the transformative potential of the head elder's proposal. The integration of the humans would no longer be a mere experiment, but a collaborative endeavor that would shape the very destiny of the galactic civilization. As the session drew to a close, the human delegates, who had observed the proceedings with a mixture of trepidation and hope, stepped forward, their expressions solemn yet resolute. Honored elders, the humans are ready to embark on this new chapter of cooperation and mutual understanding. We are committed to working alongside you, to contribute our unique perspectives and capabilities for the betterment of all. The head elder nodded, a rare smile tugging at the corners of her lips. Then let us begin, humans. Together, we will forge a future that transcends the boundaries of our individual civilizations and ushers in a new era of unprecedented progress and discovery. With that, the delegates filed out of the chamber, their minds buzzing with the weight of the momentous decisions they had made. The galactic community had taken a bold step into the unknown, and the ramifications would be felt for generations to come.